I'm joined by Sam Squire, who has recently joined Harrows as our player analyst and coach. And today we're going to give a little insight into what Sam does on his day-to-day with younger talent and also older talent who have come to him for some help. So Sam, that'll be mindset changes, what you're very big on, and then also just practicing the right way, right?
Yeah, just doing stuff properly, basically, you know, getting yourself to the level where you want to be by, you know, just getting little changes, you know, nothing crazy, nothing major, not trying to put too much pressure on yourself. Again, like you said, mentality switches, you know, there's multiple things you can do. It's not just about, you know, playing darts. There is other things, let's say, you can get better.
And the mindset thing is something you're quite big on, right? It's not changing someone's throw entirely. It's a lot to do with the mindset.
Yeah, it's just like I said, a lot of people, like I said, they've just got to change the way they think. It's not about, like I said, trying to be Luke Littler straight away or Van Gogh and whatever, you know, focus on yourself, do your little bits. You know, if you get your mentality right, you'll be fine.
Cool. So let's have a little insight into if you were going to your first session with Sam, what you're in for. Cool. So Sam, if we were going to start from scratch, what would you be telling me to do first?
So first thing would be to have a throw for at least 10-15 minutes,
Okay.
which we already have done, to get your arm loosened up, get everything going. And then after that, we jump into a proper warm-up.
Okay.
So for me, proper warm-up, you need to use all the board. So you've been in here chucking, you've only thrown at 20s, which is only one segment on board.
Yep.
I know it's the most important segment as we're scoring, but when we get down to a finish, it all changes. So if you're playing a match, throwing at 20 is fine, hitting scores, get down to 53, and you go throw at 13, and you look at it and you go, I hope I hit 13.
Yeah.
Again, instantly, poor mindset. Thinking about, oh, I need to hit this 13, you know, oh God, I need to hit it. If you've not thrown at it, you're not going to find confidence in it. And I can guarantee when I go to tournaments, if somebody wants something like a 53, 9 times out of 10, it's going in 6.
Okay.
Because they've got no judge of where that is. So I'm not saying 13 is the most important number on board, but when it comes down to leaving 53, it then becomes very important. So what I like to do is a warm-up of 3 darts at each number.
Okay.
Nice and simple. So, you know, if you have 3 at 1, 3 at 2, 3 at 3, all the way around. When it comes to, you know, doing that, when you get into a game, you should become a bit more confident on them single numbers. Yeah. Because as amateur players, that's probably what's going to be missed more often than anything.
The big number.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, you start chasing after it. Like, say, if you want 53, hit the big 6, then you've got to try and hit a 7. And, you know, you might, again, get a bit erratic and hit a 16, and then you've not had a dart double then. So, you know, 3 darts at each number. It's nice and simple, but I like to do it where you get 1 point for a single, 2 for a double, 3 for a treble, just so you've got a score. Again, once you've got a score, next time you do it, you've got something to beat. So again, you can start changing your mindset of your focus at your start of your practice. But you know, it's just about being more confident. You know, 3 darts at a number one day might not seem a lot, but if you do that 5 times a week, that's 15 darts at a number. If you do it 4 weeks, that's 60. A year, 720. You know, over a year, it becomes a lot.
Hopefully it becomes muscle memory.
Yeah, again, you get more confident at just the big number hits. It's not a case of, oh, I hope I hit it. It's, okay, I'm going to hit it. And again, it's that mindset shift straight away.
Nice. So if you were going to tell me now to start throwing at any other number other than 20, what would you say is a routine that people could then follow?
Like I said, I think, like I said, the 3 darts at each number is the perfect way. Starting at 1, working your way around. Because like I said, if you do that every day before you start actually doing any other routines or any matches or anything, like I said, it gets you set up and it gets you ready to actually start your games and start your practice and gets you into that good mentality.
Almost around the board, but staying on that one number.
Just 3 darts at each number, whether you hit all 3, miss all 3, whatever. Again, you get in used to it being around that area. And if you miss, again, it's about being able to change your throw and correct it whilst you're at the hockey.
Cool.
So 3 darts at 1 just to start with.
And then, yeah, that's the cameras being on, I reckon.
But yeah,
so that'd be 1 point.
So you'd score 1 point. Okay. So keep track, Sophie.
And then would you say then move on to 2?
Move on to 2 now, yeah.
Wow. This is no reflection on Sam's coaching.
That's fine, so you won't get any points there, but you'd still move on to 3.
Yep.
Perfect, so you score 5 points for that.
Cool. And then would you say So say obviously 4, 5, 6, 7. When you get to say something like 20, would you then also say 3 darts at 25? 3 darts at ball?
3 darts at ball to finish it off. I like 3 darts to finish off, just so you know you finish that routine. Again, 1 point for a 25, 2 for a bull, and then that adds on to your score, and then you can move on to your next routine.
Okay, so your next routine following that after someone has gone round the board?
Then I'd look at scoring.
Okay.
It'd be something that, you know, we'd look at that straight alignment to the 20, just to see, you know, where we're landing. Are we landing high, are we landing low? Are we left, are we right? As you're a left-hander, I would suspect you get more darts in the 1, because naturally your arm will drift as you get lazy with your throw, as most of us do. But it's trying to get that nice alignment on 20s, trying to find bigger 20s rather than aiming straight at the treble. Let's just find the 20. Don't worry about having to hit 180s all the time. 180s are there as a miracle shot, as like, you know, the top, but we don't have to focus on them. Amateur players, 60s every time would be beautiful. If you could start every leg 60, 60, 60, your confidence should be perfect, because you know you've thrown 9 straight darts. Now I know some people get stressed at that because they think, oh, I want to hit a treble, I want to hit a treble. Your mindset comes first over the scores. Because if you start a leg 60, 60, 60 and 9 straight darts, there's a good chance you will find a treble in them 9 straight darts. So at that point, you scored 220 points in your first 9 darts, 73 average, well, first 9 average. As an amateur player, that puts you in good stead for the rest of the game. But not just that, you know, I'd rather see 60, 60 ton than 26, 180, 45. Although 26, 180, 45 is more. I'd still rather see the
overall games there.
Because for me, you've got a balance that you've got to stick to with your mentality. You know, you hit a 26 negatively affects you. You know, I see players all the time, you know, they'll hit a 26, you see them coming to the board, moping, take them out, they're going back, and they're stood behind, you can see them like this behind, messing with the darts, heads down, chuntering to themselves. Again, not letting that, not good mentality. Equally, it might sound silly, but we're 180. You see people hit a 180, come to the board, buzzing, getting back in the, you know, you can see like they're stood behind waiting to throw again, and they're straight back into it, and they speed up. They've let that adrenaline, that endorphin hit kick in, and it's took over the body, and then they step up and hit a 26, and then they go back down again. So that's going up and down, up and down. Whereas if you can come and hit 60s, you're nice and steady, it's where you want them to be. You know, even 59s, whatever, you know, it's straight, solid darts. But it's about being able to come to the board and react the same every time. You should come to the board, for me, come to the board, take them out. Once you took them out, there's a little flick, you focus on your next 3. You can't affect the previous 3, so let that go, whatever it is, 26, 60, ton, 180, whatever it is, you take them out, you focus on your next 3. You can't affect that, so that's what this next routine will be about, is about trying to get your darts straight. So what we're going to do, we'd throw 30 darts at the 20 and see how many 20s we actually hit. And what you do is, again, if you hit 20 out of 30, that's your target to move forward. When you're trying to get that closer and closer to that 30, you know, depending on what level you're at, would be your target. But, you know, I think from what I've already seen, I'd like you to be at 21. I think you're more than good enough to throw at 21. But again, it's setting a target, but it's working the mindset. You know, you've got a routine to work on to actually practice your darts, but you're working the mindset all the time. It's constantly focus on 20, come up, take them out, focus on the next 3 every time. That's what we'd look at.
So before I then jump in, something I found really interesting what you said about the mindset of, say, an amateur player hitting that 180 and then being buzzing and wanting to get straight back to hockey. But does, in what you've seen, perhaps a little bit of laziness then start to kick in, so you think, oh, the game's there now? Yeah,
so like I say, you've got a couple of things. Like I say, you've got what I've already spoke about. Like I say, you get the adrenaline, the endorphin hits. You'll have it at 180. You know, if you don't hit a lot of them in games, it's a big thing. But yeah, it also, you know, becomes that expectation. I've hit a 180 out, they're going straight, aren't they? It'll just land, and they don't. You know, you get that swaying side to side, 1s and 5s coming into play. It's like I say, you've got to be constantly sort of on it. Again, you don't have to be 100% all the time, but you've got to be enough to know what you're doing and be switched on enough to do it.
Cool. So if I go, what you'd say, 30 darts at 20, yeah?
Yeah, so it'd be 30 darts at 20, and we'd count how many you get.
Not a great start.
That's
Not a great start. I'm telling you, that's why the cameras are on.
Yeah, good adjustment across though. And again, the one that's missed is right next to it.
Yeah.
So again, they're the ones that, you know,
again, that's just mindset. Yeah.
People have let that stress them out.
Yeah.
You don't need to, you know, it's just a slight, again, same with that one, it's a slight adjustment. And again, as with you being a left-hander, totally natural for it to drift to the left.
Is there something you'd look at if you see, say, me being a left-hander, that drift? Would you then start looking at where I'm standing at the hockey?
Yeah, so you'd have a look, a bit of everything really. It can be, you know, the way you stood, the way your alignment is.
Yep.
You know, the way you draw the dart back, the way the dart comes up, the way you follow through, the way your wrist comes through. It could, a number of things.
Now you've put that, not in a bad way, in my head of the thing. I felt that one there. I've reached across my boss.
You really felt it. Yeah, and that's the thing with a lot of it. And, you know, with the actual technique side of things, my job is to make sure you know what you need to do to adjust to that.
Yeah.
And you feeling that go across is a good feeling.
Yeah.
Because for me, you know that it's there, you know how to address it, and then you can do things like that.
Yeah.
You know, you can throw 3 straight darts, big 20, without feeling, and that's it. If you do it again, you know that you've either just got a bit lazy,
yep,
or your throw's not quite there, and you can adjust it back.
Like that.
So there, yeah. But then again, let's say you've adjusted straight back to it.
And then probably over-adjusted.
Yeah, over-adjusted, but again, that's not always terrible, because again, you get that feeling for an over-adjust.
Flyer.
Again, straight, they're in 20, so we take it.
And that's again what you're big on, is that mindset of just
like I said,
eliminate the negative.
You know, like I said, it is straight. Again, there is something there that needs addressing, but at least you know that your arm is coming through straight. Yeah, lucky, little deflection.
So we'll have 3 more,
yep,
and then we'll move on to what would be your next routine.
Yeah, that's fine.
I thought we were going to end well then.
Good though, again, 3 straight in 20, that's what we're looking for.
Cool.
Right, so what we do first, get you nice and central on hockey. So I'd say keep going that way, a bit further, about there.
Yep.
So yeah, so around there, like I said, a lot more central.
Yep.
Now these next parts will feel really robotic and they won't feel comfortable to start with.
Okay.
But again, it's not about sticking to this, it's just about the feeling, about getting nice and straight and everything in good positions.
Okay.
So first one would be, take your dart out of your hand, and it'd be down by your side, down by your pocket. So your arm already straight away is nice and straight and it's ready to go, okay? Second part would be point 2, which would be getting your elbow up. So it'd just be a case of keeping it, like I say, nice, still, and rigid, nice, straight to the board.
Yep.
Again, it's just do like in your shoulder, do its only job, which is getting your elbow into position. Once it's done that, your shoulder should never come into your throw, because that's when we get that snatch.
Okay.
Okay, so that's point 2. Point 3 would then be the drawback, but also keeping the elbow in the same position. So there, pretty good. And like I say, getting the drawback just a touch further there. And then point 4 would be the follow through, about getting your elbow and your wrist through nice and straight.
So it should be like that.
So it should be all the way through. Cool. Again, don't overexert it where it hurts, but again, it should be follow through nice and straight. Okay? So it'll all be nice and slow and nice and steady to start with, and then we'll build up the pace a little bit.
Cool.
So it'd be
Arm
nice
down.
point of, and again, you can run through the points of 1, 2, 3, 4 to make it a bit easier. So it'd be a case of getting into position. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool.
Okay, so
try and run through that.
Okay, so let's say find the position on hockey, and then nice and steady. Okay, good. Yeah, nice and steady, 1.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Feels
so again,
robotic, but
feel robotic. Again, you got to, this is the hard part. A lot of people do that. They throw the first one, then try and get straight into it. You've got to try and be quite strict. A bit further that way. You've got to try and really be strict with yourself. Really be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and get into that point 1. That's it. Good.
Cool. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. When you actually break it down, it is...
Yeah, it's just, it's trying to make the throw simpler for yourself.
Yep.
Trying to give yourself 4 points to think about, and that's it. Good. Again, I'd just like to see, I think that first one, I'd just like to see that wrist come through just a bit smoother.
Yep.
Because at the minute it's going through, like there's a lot of fingers like sticking out and tensing up.
Cool.
When it comes through, it's really hard to describe what I want you to do, but it's sort of like a basketball type motion. If you had a basketball and you bounce it down like that, you'd have it there. So you throw
nice
basketball and so let it come through. And come through straight as well, not like a handshake. I like it nice and straight through.
So it almost does a twist forward.
So it's all like there and through.
Cool.
Nice and steady away. Just take your time. Okay, good. Good. Last start, lovely. Again, just touch on grip. I know we had a little conversation before, but again, trying not to have too much tension in your fingers. Try and keep them not too loose where you don't have feeling and control.
But you're not trying to strangle the dart.
Yeah, you want it just sort of, it wants to sit nicely in your hand. Cool. Again, a lot of people describe like that, grabbing a pen. Again, I don't agree with particularly a pen grip, but the way you hold a pen, you wouldn't hold it and grip it too hard. You know, you'd hold it, you know, and have it where it's just nice in your hand, where you don't have to force it. But also understanding that, you know, with your grip, you're gripping to let go, not gripping to hold it. So trying to remember that, you know, I need to let go of this dart, so I shouldn't have too much going on, too much restricting it. Remember, it's like I say, nice and like steady. A nice steady grip, let's say, it would just be fingers just sat on.
Just sat on.
Like I say, well,
keeping
sometimes
it in position.
Sometimes yours there, say, you sometimes get it where, you know, you can see they're all really tensed and closed in. Whereas if we're just a bit looser with it, I guess I gain a bit more control. Again, with all the steps in there and the nice smooth wrist through. Good.
First dart, he knows what he's talking about.
I'm all right every now and again.
He knows what he's
every now and again,
about.
I'm all right. But again, same again. So again, we've lost a little bit of there, yeah, that's it. And then again, keep everything nice and straight. Good. Good. And we just turned a little bit on that last start as you pulled it back. Just turned slightly.
Yeah.
But again, like, keep everything straight. You should feel more. You should feel more when it does come off of that straight line.
Yeah.
You should feel it come off of the straight line.
I think the one thing I know you've tried to get me to adjust the feet position. I think that's the one thing that is in my head the most at the moment, because I've probably been far too over the right for quite a long while.
Yeah, and it's again, it's like I say, you're making a lot of the board more difficult for yourself. Good. So the first start was just a bit lazy.
Yeah.
You just let your arm drift across, and that's just, again, a lot of players, again, right-handers get stressed out hitting fives. It's just you being a touch lazy with your throw. You're letting your arm come across. Keep it straight. You've got to, you know, you've got to be strict on yourself sometimes. You know, don't let it just be, oh God, I'm hitting fives. Understand why you're hitting fives. It's not just, oh, it's a bad dart. You know, there's something that you're doing that you can correct.
Yeah.
Again, just a bit lazy with last start. Just got a bit rushy. So first two were nice, got a really nice tempo, and that last one, just got it straight up.
Just trying to.
Again, remember, keep it all nice and straight. There you go. Just that last dart. Last dart's usually the lazy dart.
Yeah.
First dart's hardest to throw, last dart's lazy dart.
Cool.
So already you managed to speed your throw up and hitting all the marker points. But again, to start with, it can be really frustrating because it can be really slow because it can be like very so very robotic, but you're just trying to feel where your arm's going.
And then the rhythm comes later.
Yeah, that all clicks in. You don't have to stick to that, it's just about finding the places to be. Lovely. Lovely straight darts, that's what we'd look for.
Cool, and then...
So now what I'd want you to do now, I'd get you to throw at double 16. Now a right-hander I'd get to throw at double 10.
Okay.
Just because, again, it's that sort of, you know, going against your body.
Okay.
Whereas, again, you're left-hander, so naturally
trying
it's going
to promote that straight arm.
I'm trying to get you to find a double that's in a, technically an awkward position for you being left-handed. So I say nice double 16s, sticking to the techniques that we've just done. So once you've picked your target, look at it, pick it, then everything needs to go back into that sort of nice straight line and be confident with everything going through.
So would you recommend looking at that target even before you're setting up to the hockey?
So what I'd do is, I'd know my target.
Yeah.
I would look, yeah, you can have a quick look at it behind, yeah, look at your double 16, that's fine. Then everything's into setup, pick your target, keep your darts in your opposite hand, pick your target, look at it, then start your throw.
Okay.
So get your position first, get set, right, now start your throw. Again, nice and steady. Good. See again, a lot of people be stressed out about them 3 darts.
Yep.
Don't need to be. They're all in what I'd look at as the right area.
Yep.
And that's again, it's another mental change. You know,
Yeah,
people look at that going, oh, it's not even anywhere near. But you know, you look at it, you had 2 darts here, which are on the right line. But because you've changed your throw slightly and you're being more direct,
yep,
they're a bit higher.
Okay.
So, and also, you got to remember, you've changed from being over the far right-hand side of the hockey and moving inwards. So normally at this point, you'd have to throw that a lot harder. So you're still throwing at the same strength that you would normally. So now you need to realise that you need to take a little bit off of it to find that position.
Because it's on the right plane
yeah,
anyway.
because you're much closer and it's much easier dart to throw it. So again, nice and steady, nice and smooth. Good. Good. Brilliant. Again, really good. Area's better, area's smaller. So that's what it'd be. More darts you throw, the area gets smaller and smaller. Perfect.
Is that all 3?
2. Double 8 as well, so close enough. On wire. But again, that area becomes smaller and smaller. It's not about being perfect straight away. And again, you know, it's not always going to be like that. Again, take a bit off. Again, good. They're all there. Let's throw some at double 18.
Double 18.
So again, nice and steady. Pick your spot.
I could feel
Second dart's a bit rushed.
Yeah, that was and also I felt like I let go of that.
So what happened with that second dart is you pulled back, got to here and then forced it.
Right.
Rather than getting a nice smooth drawback and then the throw afterwards. Yeah, 3 great darts. Again, you know, look at all 3. Again, just a bit too much on it at the minute.
Yep. Wow.
Good.
Apart from that one.
First one just a bit too much on it, that's all. Again, you're just readjusting to them lines, that's all. Again, change your position on hockey so it's going to change where you're throwing. Good. 3 good darts. Again, perfect. And then we'll have 3 at bull as well. Again, nice and steady. Same thought process. Nice and steady. Again, look at them positives. The line's good on them. Again, it's just finding that weight in the middle.
Right.
That's what we get now. So again, because you've changed position, the weight in the middle changes. So steady away, slow it down just a touch.
There we
Perfect.
go.
I say it's just about taking time, and this is the thing. Once you change technique, people think it's just going to change straight away.
Yeah.
If my job was that easy, I probably wouldn't be coaching. I'd be on a beach somewhere doing it remotely. But it really isn't. I give you ideas and I give you things to think about. It's about you taking them away and putting them to practice. You need to spend the time working on it. Working on your throw, finding what's nice for you. It's about sticking to them points and spending actual time rather than just thinking, oh, that's it. I'm sorted now.
Is there like a little bit of a parallel between, I don't know if you've ever been for like a golfing lesson.
Yes,
like,
I have.
like feels.
Yeah, and
feeling.
It is, it is about that. And to be fair, there's a lot of similarities with, again, a lot of sports. And like I said, with golf, it's simple changes. So, I started playing golf last year and I had a golf lesson. Before I had a golf lesson, I was slicing everything.
Yeah.
Everything was right, so I'm playing slice. Go have a lesson, I tell him, I'm slicing everything. And he went, They went, all right, it's a few balls, it's a few. And he went, right, aim for them. He went, just turn your wrists. They just went, bang, dead straight.
Yeah.
Bang, dead straight. And they're adding 20, 30 yards up to every shot.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, but that's not just one lesson. I have to go out and then put that to play, and I have to physically do it. And, you know, I went and played straight afterwards, teed off, pitching wedge to 2 foot, birdie. And then after that, thought, I've cracked it.
Yeah.
And exactly what I don't want people to do with darts, which was, I'm fine, I'll just hit it. Sliced.
See, of what you've been telling me there, I think the one thing I'm going to have to work on first is making sure that alignment becomes first nature.
And this is another thing, obviously, I've got you to try and do everything at once there.
Yeah.
But what it's about is doing one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Don't think you have to do this, and this. Just do one thing. That's if you want to work on your alignment to start with, perfect. But then once you've worked on your alignment, worked on, you know, getting my elbow in the right position, then work on the nice drawback, then work on the nice follow through. Do one at a time. You don't have to do everything at once. It's not a rush.
Cool.
So yeah, it's just about you having to like go away now and work at them techniques. But while we do the rest of the session, I'd want you to continue to keep working at them and pushing yourself, meaning that the rest of the session will be difficult.
Yep.
But that's not a bad thing.
No.
I'd rather it be difficult, because then when you get it all, it'll become easier.
Cool. Cool. So Sam, we've worked on my like a 4-step process in terms of approaching the hockey and then throwing those darts. So then after that, what would be your next process to look at?
So after that, evilly, we'd look at some doubles.
Oh, good.
Again, I do it on purpose because this is the part where I can try and help you, you know, deal with that bit of frustration if we are missing doubles. But, you know, it's trying to do the hard thing first. You know, we always, in life, you know, we put the hard things off. You know, we do all the easy bits and then leave all the hard bits till the end. But with this, I really want you to get straight into it. I want you to get straight into trying to hit some doubles. So what we'd probably look at is something like, you know, some common checkouts. So some nice simple 2-darters.
Okay.
Or I say simple, should be simple, it's not always.
I'll prove that wrong.
But you know, it's just about, again, if you're not hitting them, it's to not worry. It's about putting the darts in the correct area. So again, that mindset shift. When we're practicing at home, we're practicing. You know, if you're missing, that's why you're practicing. So it's trying, again, to understand, this is why I'm practicing these doubles. What am I not quite doing? Am I not quite throwing properly? You know, am I snatching it? Am I overthinking it? There's many things you can work on, but it's remembering that, you know, your technique will come first here straight away. But then, you know, it's that mental side of, if I'm not hitting it, how far away am I? What's my tolerance? And again, it's about having a tolerance.
Yeah.
You know, do you want it to be on the wire? Do you want it to be within the segment? Do you want it to be, again, I try and imagine like a bit of a circle around the doubles.
Okay.
Again, sort of, if you're looking at double 16, you know, sort of bit of a circle there.
Okay.
Again, a good thing to do would be maybe to put some like rubber bands around, or, you know, some string or whatever, put a couple of old darts and put a circle around it, just to give yourself like that's my tolerance. But for this, you know, the main thing to start with is you focus on your technique. Okay. But then once you focus on your technique, you know, you're going to pick your target, and then it's technique based.
Okay.
That's basically what we're going to do. So we'll start with 25.
25.
You know, if we've had a dart at bull, we'll leave 25. If we've had a bad dart at double top and dragged it into treble 5, we'll leave 25. So, you know, it's one that we will get left, so it's one to be good at. Okay. So nice and simple.
988.
You can go whichever way you want, as long as it makes sense. So left-hander, you'll prefer double 10. So you can go 5 double 10 if you want, but if your route is 988, you go that way. I want you to go whichever way you're most comfortable with.
I will go 5.
Once you've picked your target, then I want it to be technique based.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, good effort, good start. Only thing I'd say there is, from the 5 to the double 10, it was quite a quick change. Okay. So you threw the 5 and you were straight at it. Yep. Once you hit that 5, take a second, because your body's going to adjust. Yep. You know, a lot, not loads, but it's going to adjust a little bit. Now, if you're 5 straight to 10, if you're adjusting as you're throwing, again, you can over adjust. Okay. So remembering 5, pick your target, then throw it double 10. Okay?
Slow it down a bit. Yeah, so would you say start again, or just go for that?
Yeah, so start again. We'll have a few attempts at each one. So same again. Loads better. Instantly, like I say, you took an extra, you were only half a second, that's all it needs.
Just taking that time to line yourself up.
To adjust. It's end of the day, 5 to 10, that's a big adjustment on board. You're going right across it. So it's remembering, just give yourself time.
Ah.
Again, 36. All right, so 13 left, so 5 double 4. Good. Yeah, good effort. Again, line's good.
Yep.
Perfect. And again, when you're practicing your double, you're practicing these 2 darters, you're going to miss big singles. And it's about, you know, adjusting correctly. It's not about going, oh God, why have I missed that? Why have I missed that?
That then helps as well with, say you was in the match situation, to just shake that off and go, right, now I know where I'm
and
going
that's, again, that's what most of your practice is.
Yeah.
It's about making mistakes. You know, it's why you're practicing. You're going to make mistakes. So if you do that, that can happen in a game very easily. Pros do that in a game. So amateurs, it's going to happen. So it's about, again, reacting properly. It's not about it and going, oh God, and like letting that get to you. Look at it, go, right, okay, I've missed. What have I got left? 13. Take a second, let me readjust, and I'll sort myself out. Okay. You know, if you do it in practice more, you know, if you do it in practice, you're just going to naturally go into it, and you're keeping your rhythm then as well. Oh. You're not stood there going, I'm moping about it. Again, letting it get to you, and then you tense up, and then you hit another 12, and then everything goes to plot. You know what I mean? It's just taking your time. If you make a, you know, if you go for 5 and you're hitting a 12, it's fine. Just, you know, look what you need. I need 13. Take a second. 5 double 4. Right, I'm going to go for it now. Oh. That's what it's about.
So should we stay on 25?
We'll stay on 25. We'll have one more attempt at it. Again, nice and steady.
Wow.
It's all right. Take time. Again, line's good. Just need to, again, adjust the weight of it. So we'll try 35 now.
35.
So again, you can go whichever way you want. I'd like you to go 3 double 16.
3 double 16.
So 16 left, double 8. Good effort. And so back to 35, another go at it. Yeah, nice and steady away. Think about the technique points. Yeah, good effort. Just a little bit draggy on that last one. Held onto it just a touch too long, but it's fine.
Be good if I hit a double here, wouldn't it?
That'd be brilliant. So 35 again, nice steady.
Jeez, bet you can do that again.
So one more attempt at 35. Let's go 15 double 10.
15?
Yeah, let's go 15 double 10. Wonderful.
Finally hit one.
And again, that's another thing to realise when you're practicing doubles and like stuff like this. Change it up.
Yep.
If something's not landing, if you just kept going 3 double 16, 3 double 16, like you're missing over and over again, getting more and more frustrated, change it up. Throw out something different. You know, just a simple change. 15 double 10. You like double 10.
Yeah.
Throw out a double you like.
So would you then, just saying on what you said there, you know me, you know I like double 10. Would you be against someone trying to constantly set themselves on their favourite double? Would you rather they practice the whole lot?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, if you're comfortable on a double, you're comfortable on a double. I mean, you know, Luke Littler's changed this, started throwing at double 15 with stuff, you know what I mean? And it's because he likes where it is, and that's fine. But, you know, if you can get on that 16 route, it's always a good one to be comfortable on.
Yeah.
You know, it's top 16, it's always good. You know, you get some people trying to leave double 14 and things, but the thing for me is, yeah, double 14 is fine, but if you come on inside, instantly you've got double 7, which again can be a bit awkward. You come on inside of that, you've got to split it.
Yep.
Again, like I said, I don't mind people leaving the favourite doubles, but if it makes more sense to leave tops or 16s, probably go that way instead. Yeah. Don't try and reinvent checkouts that we've been doing for years.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's why they're there.
Yeah, it is. It's why people do them all the time.
Cool.
So let's do 41.
41.
Again, you can either go 9 double 16 or 1 double top, whichever one you prefer.
Cool. Actually, get the 9 would be helpful.
Okay. So and then, I'm glad you've sort of done that. A good thing to try and get into, good habits wise. I'll see a lot of people there throw them 2 darts like you did, then just last dart, I'll just chuck it at wherever. Try and get into a good habit of still trying to leave it. So there, still act, you've got 40 on, still try and hit the 9 like you did.
Yep.
Because, you know, if in a game, if you just launch a dart, let's say by accident you leave 3 and your opponent misses, and then you come back and you're like, oh. Again, you're going to stress yourself out about it. Try and leave it. If you leave it on, you're ready to come back if they miss. If they check it out, again, you've done everything you can to leave it on. So again, good habit in practice is to still try and leave it. 29 left, mate. Wonderful. Again, if you miss, it don't matter. You can still check it out.
Yeah, and that habit, I think you still see that in pro games as well, when someone is left on, say, what would someone would class as an easy finish, and someone may miss what they're going for, throw a dart, come back, and then actually the other player will miss, and then they're like, oh, I could have got myself down
and that's
to a
the
finish.
You can put yourself in a better position rather than, say, just launching a dart and wasting it. It's one thing, you know, I'm pretty strict on with a lot of players that I coach, is that you don't just launch a last dart. Use every dart. It's there to be used. Your opponent, for me, your opponent has to beat you. If they beat you and they're the better player, you shake their hand and you say, fair enough. But don't let them beat you by you being wasteful.
Beating yourself,
Yeah, exactly.
And again, that's just what you started out saying, it's the mindset.
Yeah. Of course, you know, you've got to have yourself in a positive mindset. You know, we've got to remember that we play darts because we enjoy playing. Now, obviously, for the pros, it's different because it's the livelihood that it's paying the bills. For anyone playing amateur, it's not paying us bills.
No.
So we need to remember that, you know, we need to have some fun with it. You know, don't let it stress you out. Don't let it get on top of you. If you win a game, brilliant, well done. If you lose a game, you try and beat the person next time. End of the day, you know, darts is fun for people. We've all picked it up because we enjoy it. We shouldn't let it get to the point where it's stressing us out and, you know, ruining us days because we've, you know, lost a game at a vault or whatever. You know, we've chucked a poor average. Oh God, I've chucked a 42 average. You know, I'm usually chucking 50s. Right? You probably missed a few doubles. You probably missed a couple of singles. It's, like I said, you can see it stresses so many players out, and it doesn't need to. It's just good mindset. Keep everything positive.
Cool. So Sam, we've looked at alignment, how I'm throwing. We've then looked at doubles. What else would you be looking at in someone's first session?
So to finish off a session, I'd look at something for a little bit of setup play, something nice and, you know, simple. So we'll do a little bit of 1-2-1. Most players know how to do that. You know, start at 121, 6 or 9 darts, depending on what level you want to throw it.
Can I have 12?
Come as many as you want. But you know, it's looking at simple setup. You know, again, this is an area that people really overcomplicate, trying leaving mad finishes, and, you know, as we spoke about before, leaving random doubles when, you know, the setup it should be fairly simple. So, like I said, nice 1-2-1. Keep it simple. Keep it easy. Again, you can go for big shots if you want to, but let's remember that this is for your setup. So you don't have to go for, you know, 20 treble 17 bull. You know, you can keep it just simple. You can just hit a 60 and come back for 61. You know, keep it as simple as you want to do it. Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, again, remembering alt technique points. So that's 5 scored, 116. So keep it at 20. It's nice and steady. Oh, unlucky.
26.
Reflection there. That's fine. And so 95 left. So we've got 19s. So 76 left, so treble 20 for double 8. Yeah, and we'll set it up still, so it's 56 left, so big 16. Perfect, so you just set it up again. It's a setup routine. So you'd set it up, so tops left, 3 darts. Yeah, nice steady, stick to alt technique points.
Wow.
All right, steady away. 35 left, 3 double 16. Yeah, good.
Needed more than a 9.
Yeah, it's fine. So again, 1-2-1 back to start. And keep it nice and simple. Good. 41, so 80 left. Nice simple darts here. Needed here. So let that wrist come through just a bit nicer. There you go. Perfect.
There we go.
Simple as that. So yeah, it's just, like I said, the setup side of things, it's just about keeping things easy. But, you know, also, you know, in fact, like say you hit a 1 or you hit a 26 or whatever, again, it doesn't matter. You put yourself in a new scenario. You know, you hit 26, you left 95 with 6 darts. It's just a new scenario that you've got to work out yourself. you hit 55 to leave tops. You know, yeah, we didn't check it out, but then next time, you know, you come back and you did. It's just about keeping things simple. You know, we don't need to overcomplicate it. It's a very simple game. It's get from 501 to 0 as quick as you can. You know what I mean? That's the aim of the game. You don't have to leave mad shots and big checkouts, and you know, see a lot of people, you know, being on 182 and hitting a big 12, and I'm like, what are you leaving 170 for? You don't need to go for, you know, if you go 18 instead, leave the 165. If you hit a treble, even better. Because if you hit a treble 12, you've not got as much as the treble 18. So it's, you know, it's looking at your setups and leaving it and being in a better position for what you want. You know, and it's, you know, you see some people that say last starting hand might hit a 19 or a 20, depending on if they want to leave 82 or 83. You know, if you prefer bull double 16 or treble 17 double 16 or treble 14 for tops, it's all about what you as a player want, but you know, not doing anything that doesn't make sense, keeping it as simple as you can. But yeah, doing 121 up to 130 for me is a perfect way to do that. Or again, for your better players, going up to 140, 150, whatever you want to go up to. But just remembering that, you know, keep it as simple as you can, basically.
Cool. And then just for anyone who hasn't played like 121, after you've taken out your 121, you would go to 122.
Yeah, move up to 122, 123, 124. Again, for your better players, you could do it where if you hit it, you go up one. If you miss it, you go down one. You know, you can alter it and change it for whatever you want.
And tailor it to yourself. Yeah,
basically, yeah. 6 darts, 9 darts, 12 darts. Again, all depends on what level you're playing at. But what I'd always say is don't make it so difficult that it's unachievable, but don't make it too easy where, you know, you're just flying through them. You know, always put a little bit of pressure back on yourself.
Brilliant. So that is an insight of Sam's coaching techniques and what he looks for when he's trying to make someone better at their game or just change their mentality. As you mentioned, Sam, mentality is one of the biggest things he looks at, as well as the technique. Hopefully there's something in there for you guys to take with yourself, or alternatively, Sam, how could someone reach out to yourself?
So I have got a website. If you search Sam Squire Darts Coaching, should hopefully pop up. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, X. Again, reach out to me to any of them if anyone's interested, need any more information. Academy-wise, we're full. So as of most academies, so unfortunately we can't get anyone in, but again, you're welcome to join the waiting list. But yeah, I'm always open to, you know, to emails and anything. So yeah, if you want to come for some coaching, you know, I'm pretty booked up at the minute, but usually calms down a little bit in summer. But yeah, you can reach me on any socials really. Sam
will be across our socials a lot more in the coming future, so look out for that, and there'll be more stuff that you can take away and do at home to get better at your own darts. Sam, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.